The exploration and exploitation paradox of leadership involves pursuing novel ideas and experimentation, which is the exploration side, while still refining and executing proven strategies that sustain team or organizational performance, which is the exploitation side. So leaders have to hold two competing impulses at the same time. They have to be curious enough to pursue discovery, but they also have to be disciplined enough to constantly deliver. And it's a constant oscillation between divergent thinking and discipline, which is searching for what could be while still protecting what's proven to work. And in psychology and organizational theory, this tension is almost a universal phenomenon. So, explorers, creative people like artists, they tend to have a high degree of trait openness and a high tolerance for uncertainty. Now, exploiters, which tend to be the manager types, they value structure and systems and repeatability, and both are essential. And the leader's job is to somehow synchronize the two without letting one consume the other. Teams without disciplined managers explore endlessly without any sort of implementation. And teams that can't tolerate uncertainty exploit endlessly until all the innovation dries up. And so the best leaders are ones who can build environments that do both simultaneously. They give permission to their creative types to explore inside a certain set of acceptable constraints. There are boundaries that actually encourage discovery without dissolving focus on what the real orientation or the vision is. If all you do is explore, you end up drifting. And if all you do is execute, you end up actually decaying. The insight here on this paradox is that effective leaders have to engineer controlled exploration. They create a deliberate cycle where teams test and fail and refine while still maintaining operational discipline needed to produce. And that's how teams and organizations actually evolve without losing the traction that they need to maintain to pursue what they're actually after. Now, this paradox manifested during our Arctic Warfare Initiative back when I was in the SEAL teams, and we had to prepare for a mission that we'd never done before. We had to prepare for training that we'd never done before, which ended up becoming a 2 week glacier operation on skis. And I didn't know the best way to train for it or even where to train for it. Instead of gambling on a single approach, I had multiple elements of my team explore different training venues simultaneously. So we looked at civilian resorts, we looked at military facilities, and we even looked at backcountry environments. We looked at California, we looked at Colorado, we even looked at places in Montana. And by running these exploration cycles all in parallel, we ended up discovering that the optimal training environment faster than if we had committed to one option earlier on. It had to switch gears. And so that's the one operational version of this paradox: exploration guided by structure. Exploration without direction wastes time. Direction without exploration wastes potential. So here's a simple way to operationalize this. Set aside a small percentage of every project cycle for experimentation: 10%, 20%, whatever's acceptable to you, which is something that Google does, something that 3M does. And then define clear checkpoints to evaluate what those experiments actually reveal. If something shows promise, fold that into your exploitation cycle and see if you can pursue it further. And if not, extract the lessons, shelve it, scrap it, and then move on. That rhythm of exploring, evaluating, exploiting, and repeating is something that can turn innovation from a risk and a gamble into something that's a repeatable and sustainable process.